The room fell silent the moment she pointed at the door. He stood there holding a worn-out cardboard box filled with greasy parts, his hands stained, his eyes tired, but not defeated. Around him people watched, some with pity, others with quiet judgment. And on the workbench behind him sat the engine everyone had already given up on. Dead. Useless. A waste of time. But what if they were wrong? What if the thing they called trash was about to change everything? Before we begin, take a second to support the journey. If stories like this touch your heart, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. Welcome to Echoes of Stories, where small moments carry powerful lessons. He didn't argue when she fired him. That's what surprised everyone. No shouting. No pleading. No dramatic exit. Just a quiet nod, as if he had already expected this moment. He picked up his box, gave one last glance at the engine, and walked toward the door. Her heels clicked sharply across the polished floor as she turned away, already moving on to the next productive task. In her world, efficiency mattered. Results mattered. And that man, he had been spending weeks on a machine that hadn't worked in years. To her, it was simple. He was wasting company time. His name was Daniel Carter, a mechanic who believed machines had stories most people were too impatient to hear. That engine wasn't just broken metal to him. It was a challenge, a puzzle, something unfinished. But no one saw that. Especially not her. Victoria Hale was known for being sharp, decisive, and ruthlessly practical. She had built her reputation on cutting losses quickly. If something didn't work, you didn't fix it, you replaced it. And Daniel? He believed the opposite. That same afternoon, Daniel sat in his small garage on the edge of town. It wasn't much, just a single rolling door, a few tools, and shelves filled with parts others had thrown away, but to him it felt like home. The engine sat in the middle of the floor now, the same dead engine. He had asked if he could take it before leaving, and surprisingly Victoria had agreed without hesitation. To her it was junk anyway, but to Daniel it was something more. That night he didn't sleep. He cleaned every part, studied every detail, and listened, not with his ears, but with instinct. He remembered something his old mentor once told him. Machines don't fail. People just stop understanding them. And Daniel refused to stop. Days turned into weeks. Money ran low. Bills piled up. Friends suggested he find another job. Even his brother told him, "You're chasing something that's already gone." But then something unexpected happened. A young kid from the neighborhood started showing up. His name was Leo, about 12 years old. Curious eyes, always asking questions. He didn't understand engines, but he understood effort. "Why don't you quit?" Leo asked one evening. Daniel smiled faintly. "Because no one else is trying." Leo didn't laugh. He didn't roll his eyes. Instead, he grabbed a rag and started helping. That small act of kindness changed everything. For the first time since being fired, Daniel didn't feel alone. And something shifted. The engine slowly came back to life, not just through skill, but through patience, belief, and a little unexpected support. Weeks later, the final piece clicked into place. Daniel wiped his hands, stepped back, and stared at what everyone else had abandoned. "Let's see if you still have a voice," he whispered. The engine roared to life. Not weak, not broken. Powerful. Alive. Word spread quickly. A retired racing team owner heard about the rebuild and showed up out of curiosity. One look at the engine and his expression changed. This isn't just fixed," he said. "This is better than before." Soon an opportunity came, one Daniel never expected. They offered to test the engine on a real track. Meanwhile, back at the company, Victoria continued her routine. Numbers were steady, projects moved forward, but something felt off. She didn't notice it at first, but slowly it crept in. Efficiency had replaced passion. Everything worked, but nothing inspired. Then one morning, a headline caught her eye. "A rebuilt engine breaks speed records, from scrap to champion." Her eyes froze on the image. It was the same engine, the same one she had called trash, and standing next to it was Daniel. For the first time in a long time, Victoria felt something unfamiliar. Regret. She drove to the track that day. Engines roared, crowds cheered, and in the center of it all stood Daniel, calm, focused, surrounded by people who believed in him. And beside him, smiling proudly, was Leo. Victoria approached slowly. Daniel noticed her, but didn't react the way she expected. No anger, no bitterness. Just quiet acknowledgement. "I was wrong," she said, her voice softer than ever before. Daniel looked at her for a moment, then glanced at the engine. "It wasn't dead," he replied. "It just needed time." She nodded, but her eyes shifted to Leo. "Who's this?" she asked. "My partner," Daniel said with a small smile. Leo beamed. That moment hit harder than any failure she had ever faced. Because she realized something important. She hadn't just misjudged an engine, she had overlooked a person. And more than that, she had missed the chance to show kindness when it mattered most. "Would you come back?" she asked carefully. Daniel paused, not because he needed the job, but because the answer mattered. "I'll help," he said finally, "but only if things change." Victoria didn't hesitate. "They will." And for the first time, she meant it. Back at the company, things began to shift. Slowly but meaningfully, ideas were heard, Effort was respected, and most importantly, people were seen not just for results, but for their passion. Because one act of dismissal had taught a powerful lesson, and one act of kindness from a young boy with no experience had helped rewrite everything. In the end, the engine broke records. But that wasn't the real story. The real story was about belief, about patience, about seeing value where others see nothing, and most of all about kindness. Because sometimes the difference between failure and greatness isn't skill. It's simply someone choosing to care. So the next time you see something or someone that others have given up on, pause, look closer, and choose kindness. Because you never know what quiet potential is waiting for a chance to roar back to life.